Look whose dead body was found in Minnesota hotel room 10 days after exposing huge scandal. Since before Donald Trump was elected, the prospect that he could win the presidency sent liberals into desperation mode to maintain their tightly held power and hide their deep secrets which could compromise it. Now that he's in office, the death toll seems to be on the rise of people who knew too much and were willing to tell, which could destroy the left's political agenda and land certain people in prison. Trump isn't one to let lies slide, so the ramifications of one exposing them were all too real for some seedy people in Washington, D.C. Despite their trying, the left can impeach or assassinate the president, so other people are dying instead. In particular, one person who had just spoken to the Wall Street Journal just 10 days before his body was found in a Minnesota hotel room with an odd note next to him. It has become a little too coincidental that anyone with information about Hillary Clinton seems to suffer a sudden death not long after talking about it. Over the last few years, the bodies have piled up around the Clintons with people who had damning secrets of Hillary's that she's been desperate to hide. Peter W. Smith was one such unfortunate Republican operative who was found dead of supposed suicide in his hotel room exactly 10 days after telling the Wall Street Journal that he was trying to obtain Hillary Clinton's missing emails from Russian hacker. However, that's not all that seems strange in this case. Although the 81-year-old informant suddenly perished in May of last year, his death was kept as much of a secret as Hillary's emails. It wasn't until the Chicago Tribune obtained documents this week about Smith's death that information has come out about the suicide as well as the note that was found with him after what he had learned. The Chicago Tribune reports. A Republican donor and operative from Chicago's North Shore who said he had tried to obtain Hillary Clinton's missing emails from Russian hackers killed himself in a Minnesota hotel room days after talking to the Wall Street Journal about his efforts, public records show. In mid-May, in a room at a Rochester hotel used almost exclusively by Mayo Clinic patients and relatives, Peter W. Smith, 81, left a carefully prepared file of documents, including a statement police called a suicide note in which he said he was in ill health and a life insurance policy was expiring. Although Smith's death was shrouded in mystery for months, specifically the cause and location it occurred, the lead reporter said on a podcast that he had no reason to believe the death was the result of foul play and that Smith likely had died of natural causes, according to the Chicago Tribune. A message found in the room with the body seemed to suggest suicide brought on by personal reasons other than the Russian hacker and Hillary Clinton's email scandal. Police investigating the scene in which Smith was reported to have died at 1:17 p.m. on Sunday, May 14, found an apparent suicide note which offered an apology to authorities. No foul play whatsoever, the note said regarding his death. He explained in the short, written message that he was taking his own life due to a recent bad turn in health since January 2017 and the timing of that diagnosis related to life insurance of $5 million expiring. One day before Smith's body was found, he was seen in the hotel's business center printing off documents and told an employee that the following day would be his last of his extended stay in the hotel. The Mayo Clinic where he had been said to be receiving treatment would not confirm if he was a patient there or provide any information on his condition, citing medical privacy laws. Authorities report that Smith was found with a bag over his head and a source of helium to it. What else is known is his deep connection to the Clintons and extensive history of finding unflattering information on rival candidates to get a political edge on them. For years, former Democratic President Bill Clinton was Smith's target. The wealthy businessman had a hand in exposing the Troopergate allegations about Bill Clinton's sex life. And he discussed financing a probe of a 1969 trip Bill Clinton took while in college to the Soviet Union, according to Salon magazine, Chicago Tribune reported. Investigations into possible links between the Russian government and people associated with Trump's presidential campaign are underway in Congress and by former FBI Chief Robert Mueller. He is acting as a special counsel for the Department of Justice. Mueller spokesman Peter Carr declined to comment on the Journal's stories on Smith or his death. Washington attorney Robert Kellner, who represents Flynn, had no comment Thursday. The medical examiner referred to Smith's manner of death as unusual but said it's not the first time he's seen it either. While this could have certainly been suicide, it could have also been set up to look that way, considering he had a career in digging up dirt on the Clintons and other Democratic candidates. Dead men don't talk, and Smith has now been added to the long list of strange tragedies surrounding inconvenience scandals.